Good morning, everyone. Today we can move geography section. Geography second chapter, process changing the face of the earth. So in this chapter we can deal with some of the factors or process that happen, changes in the earth surface. Then soil formation, how soil is formed, how soil is conserved. Then types of soil. These are the subheadings of this chapter. Okay, let's start. Various processes go on changing the surface of the earth. In previous chapter, we learned some of the processes that happened in the inside the earth surface. Can you say which are that factors? Yes, volcanic activities and earthquake. Actually, these two activities start from inside the earth, right? So that activities is known as internal activity. And we can see there is internal activities and external activities. External activities means the process which takes place on the surface of the earth. The process that takes place on the surface of the earth, that is known as external activities. Internal activities means the process takes place inside the earth surface. Okay. So the various external activities are weathering, erosion, mass movements. And we can learn one by one what is weathering, what is erosion, what is mass movement. Okay. First one is weathering. What is weathering? Yes, the process by which the rocks exposed on the surface get broken into smaller pieces is known as weathering. In simple terms, weathering means the breaking of rocks into smaller pieces. That is known as weathering. What is weathering? The breaking of rocks into smaller pieces. Clear? See, this is the picture of weathering. The rocks disintegrate into pieces and it is moved from apart. Okay? Then we can see what are the factors influencing the weathering process. Okay, there are some factors which influence this breaking of rocks into pieces. First process is the change in temperature and pressure. How change in temperature and pressure cause this breaking of rocks? We know during daytime there is heavy hot, and during night time there is the cooling of rocks happen. So this continuous heating and cooling of rocks makes breaking of rocks. Okay, that is the change in temperature and pressure cause breaking of rocks. The second one is action of water. How water cause breaking of rocks? Actually, the rainwater or the seawater collects in the cracks or holes of the rocks. So when the temperature falls, what happens? It freezes. These rocks, this water in the rocks freezes. So when this freeze, the cracks of the rocks will widen. So this go on for many years till the rocks disintegrate into pieces. After long years, when this process happen, this will cause disintegration of rocks, breaking of rocks. Okay. Then next one, the entering of roots of the plants. Sometimes some seeds get deposited in small holes in the rocks. It is because of humans or animals or wind. Because of wind, the seed from moving from one place to another, right? And because of humans, when humans eat that fruit and keep that seed in the earth of that rock part, then it will cause trees to grow. Then also because of animals. So because of these seeds deposited in small holes, the roots of the plants, they enter into the cracks of the rocks. Also, it will lead to breaking of rocks. When the roots enter in the cracks of the rocks, and it will lead to breaking of rocks. Then lastly, animals and humans. Animals and humans also break rocks into pieces by the actions. Because of humans' activities, human needs, they break the rocks into pieces. And also animals, some of the animals live in holes of the rocks. That will also cause the disintegration of rocks. Okay, so these are the factors influencing the breaking of rocks. Then there are three types of weathering. We can see which are the types of weathering: physical weathering, chemical weathering, and biological weathering. What is physical weathering? When disintegration of rocks takes place without any change in the chemical composition, it is called physical weathering. Actually, the breaking of rocks happened from the original rocks, but there is no change in the chemical composition. I will show the picture so you can clear very easily. See, this is the picture of physical weathering. Actually, there will be breaking of rocks will happen from its original rocks, right? But there is no changes in their composition. This is known as physical weathering. Okay, it takes place in many ways. Sometimes change in temperature, which leads to breaking of rocks. We already discussed the change in temperature. The outer layer of the rocks expand when they heated by the sun during daytime, and at night time the temperature falls. What happened? The outer layer of the rocks contract because of the cold temperature. As a result, because of this continuous process, heating and cooling of rocks will lead to the outer layer of the rocks break apart from the main rock. Okay, so this peeling of the outer layer of the rocks is known as exfoliation. The removing of the outer layer of the rocks is known as exfoliation. Okay, and also sometimes water collects in the cracks of the rocks. We already discussed because of what water enter in the cracks of the rocks, and it freezes, and it will also lead to breaking of rocks. Okay, this is known as physical weathering. Clear what is physical weathering? Disintegration, breaking of rocks takes place without any change in the chemical composition, and it takes place in many ways. First one is change in temperature, which leads to breaking up of rocks. Next is sometimes in cold lands, water in the cracks of the rock freezes and expands. That will cause breaking of rocks. Okay, so that action, the rocks, water in the rocks freezes and expands. That action is known as frost action. It is also called frost action. The second type of weathering is chemical weathering. When the chemical reaction of water or air that cause some of the portion of the rocks are dissolved, and they produce some another features like cavities, holes, cave, etc. That is known as chemical weathering. See, because of some process, the rocks make holes, or sometimes it will like a cave or some cavities we can see. So this is known as chemical weathering. Okay. Then next is biological weathering. What is biological weathering? We know animals and plants also play an important role in breaking of rocks, right? And because of pressure and heat, temperature, they decay the rocks. And plants also grow in rocks. See, in this picture we can see there some seeds enter in these cracks of the rocks, and after some years it will become a tree. So plants grow in rocks, their roots cause cracks in the rocks and break them. Actually, because of the entering of these rocks, these cracks will happen. Okay, the roots of the plants produce acidic juices that cut into pieces. Because of that, acidic juices from the roots of the plants cause the breaking of rocks. Sometimes some animals also entered in the uh, these holes of the rocks like rabbits, rats. They also make holes for living. So not only for these plants but also animals and also humans break the rocks into pieces. Okay, this is weathering is one of the natural process that cause the breaking of rocks. Okay, so there are three types of external activities. One is weathering. So we learn weathering, what is weathering, what factors influencing the weathering process and types of weathering. Okay, so please read this portion. Thank you.